Sam Bankman-Fried has been found guilty of the charges. We cannot confirm how many charges he has been found guilty yet of. There were 7 counts, including wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, as well as conspiracy to commit money laundering and a number of others. But if convicted on all charges, he is facing up to 110 years in prison.
Sam Bankman-Fried, 115 years. That's how long he's facing in prison now. He's been found guilty. Now, he defrauded his investors by donating over $70 million to various campaigns. One of those campaigns were the Bidens. He donated over $5 million to him. Now, my question is, all these people that were defrauded going to get their money back from these politicians, from these campaigns? I doubt it. They're not going to see a single dime back. A funny thing about, crypto is the government's one of the largest investors in cryptocurrencies. Now, why would that be? That's very strange. Sam Bankman-Fried, a former CEO of FTX, has been convicted of fraud and conspiracy charges and may face life imprisonment. He has also been accused of violating campaign finance laws by illegally funneling millions of dollars to candidates and political action groups ahead of the 2022 midterm elections. Bankman-Fried was a huge political donor, contributing to more than $70 million to election campaigns in less than 18 months, placing him among the nation's top political donors. However, the indictment claims that he falsely reported political contributions that were actually being sourced from Alameda research and investment firm that he controlled using customers' money. A federal prosecutor said he's also made corporate contributions to candidates and political action committees in New York that were reported in the name of another person. So we got deadbeat punk committing white-collar crime, donating to people who would help him to enable him to continue his crime, right? His sex-fueled parties in the Bahamas, whatever he was doing. Now check this out, guys. Protect our future PAC, House Majority PAC. Now look at this. Party, Democrat, $10 million. Democrat, $9 million. Democrat, $6 million. Democrat, $4 million. The list goes on and on and on. Look at the second one. Dem. Look, Republican. It keeps going on. Look at all this money, guys. Over $70 million. These investors are not going to see a dime back of this at all. And it's pretty obvious why he voted Democrat. Why else would someone that's defrauding his investors commit an actual crime want to vote for someone or give money to someone that would come after him? They only do it to people who would help him commit his crimes and to push it under the rug. Breaking: Sam Bankman-Fried, found guilty on all charges, faces up to 115 years in prison. Should Democrats have to pay back all of SBF's stolen donations? Look at this. There's Maxine right there. She blew a kiss to him. Check this out, guys. Look at this. She's blowing the kiss. Hey, Sam, we love you. We'll help you out. FTX Foster, Sam Bankman-Fried, facing up to 100+ years in federal prison after he found guilty on all charges brought forward by the Department of Justice. However, remains unclear as whether the action will be taken by the Department of Justice to investigate over $70 million FBF donated to the high-profile U.S. politicians and super PACs over the past 2 years. Throughout the 2022 midterm election, SBF donated $40 million to Democrat-aligned PACs. $40 million! That's a lot of money. Before his scheme was exposed, the crypto scammer announced his intentions to give $1 billion to Democrat candidates across the 2024 election cycle. $1 billion? Damn, that's a lot. That's insane. $1 billion. Joe Biden, whose 2020 campaign received $5 million in SBF, has yet to make any move to return the dirty money. And they're not going to return the money. That money has been long cleaned and washed, laundered, right? The Biden crime family. You guys remember Ukraine? The front man of that was Hunter Biden. Interesting enough, SBF held meetings with top Biden advisor Steve Ricchetti as recently as April and May of this year. Another prominent Democrat with close ties to the crypto defrauder is California Representative Maxine Waters. During a congressional hearing led by the U.S. Finance Committee, on which Waters serves on, she was videotaped blowing a kiss to FBF. Blowing a kiss? Why would you do that, Maxine? You barely know the guy. You just know that he has deep pockets.
The jury has reached a verdict in the trial of Sam Bankman-Fried. Joining me now is Fox Business correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, what do we know tonight?
Good evening to you, Laura. So we are getting word that Sam Bankman-Fried has been found guilty of the charges. We cannot confirm how many charges he has been found guilty yet of. There were 7 counts, including wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, as well as conspiracy to commit money laundering and a number of others. But if convicted on all charges, he is facing up to 110 years in prison. Now, the jury began deliberating after a month-long trial at roughly 3:15 today. So do the math. They came to the verdict within 4 hours, just over 4 hours. That is never a good sign for the defendant. I'll tell you, even in the Bernie Madoff trial, they took 4 days to come to a verdict. The Elizabeth Holmes trial, 7 days. Now, what happens from here? We are expecting, of course, for the defendant to file an appeal. There is also a March trial where he faces a number of other counts and decades more in prison. Certainly the fact that he has been found guilty tonight, not looking good for that March trial. But I will say I've been in the courtroom, Laura, a number of times, and I think really what did it for the jury was the last thing that they heard from witness testimony was Sam Bankman-Fried taking the stand for multiple days, and he really did a 180. In these types of trials, it comes down to credibility, especially when you have witnesses, his inner circle, testifying against him. The jury had to ask themselves, who do you believe? 3 people who are all saying, we committed fraud, we pled guilty, and he told us to do it? Or someone who got on the stand, an MIT grad, and said, I can't possibly remember what happened back then. Oh, I can't recall that. So that likely was the nail in the coffin for Sam Bankman-Fried in the minds of the jurors. Like I said, a verdict in roughly 4 hours. They didn't have to spin on this too much, Laura. We'll bring you more on those counts when we have it.
Yeah, it didn't take them long, right? 4 hours to reach a verdict on these 7 crimes, right, that he's been indicted on. Now, some of those people that went to stand to testify were some of his friends, partners, and ex-girlfriend who completely saved himself by throwing him on the bus, cut some deals with the DOJ so they cannot get in trouble, right? Like Sam Bankman-Fried. He's the guy who did it. He's the mastermind. We had nothing to do with it. Save us. Help us. Therefore, we must destroy this man and put him in jail for 115 years. Now, he had all the fun that he could have with his sex-filled drugs and parties, you know. So I'm sure he's got his money's worth out of this little scheme he had here. Right, guys? Let me know about SBF, what you think about him in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. The Buzz Review. See you on the next one.